Chris Ward, coming to you from Denver, Colorado. We have a very special guest you heard about already. So I want to get right into his presentation. I'm super excited because this is a gentleman who's a legend in our company. His financial success has been the subject of an interview on Fox Business. He is over a $500,000 ring earner, platinum world council member, and just someone that has really been one of the architects behind the compensation plan, behind Performance Club. And I can't think of anybody better to share with us how to move from Performance Club to Platinum Club other than Mr. Larry Smith. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, Chris. Thank you very much for having me out tonight. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you very much. Well, I appreciate you and looking forward to your training.
Well, good stuff. I'm going to jump right in here because I want to make sure and take advantage of everyone's time. And first of all, I just want to say in advance, happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Hope you all have an incredible week this weekend. And listen, there's no better time than to share our incredible services with our families to make sure they're protected. We hear stories all the time about how people get damaged and hurt when they don't really deserve that, and they really don't have any access to do anything about it until they find out about LegalShield. So listen, our goal is to make sure people are aware of it, get the information in front of them, get their questions answered so they can make an informed decision. So let's make sure that we really jump all over that this weekend. Let me get jumped in my training here so we can get started. So, you know, everything in life is really based on how we think. Our thoughts are everything. And I hear a lot of people say that, you know, they don't think they can have success because of their past. Well, in 1989, I filed Chapter 7 bankruptcy. And in 2014, I was featured on Fox Business News for my financial success. So don't ever believe that you can't really have success because of what's happened in the past. Every day is a new day and another chance to truly change your life. See, it's not what happens to us in life. It's how we react to what happens to us. Here's an example. This is what happened to me. This is how I reacted to it, right? So, you know, don't let all your things that seem so rough be so rough. Just change your attitude about it. So what's your stuff? And, you know, kind of think about, is it time to get rid of the stuff so that we can truly enjoy what life has to offer? So the best way to predict our future is really just to go out and create it. And that's one of the things I love most about LegalShield, because we literally have the opportunity to create money, because anytime we need money, we can just go out and present our services to more people and our opportunity to more people, and we're going to create more income as a result of it. So let's talk about the mindset about recruiting. See, a lot of people tell me that, you know, they think the recruiting is something that's like bad, right? I mean, think about this. I spent 2.5 years in the Army. I was recruited into the Army. I wasn't drafted. I was recruited. We recruit people in the Navy, the Air Force, the Marines. We recruit people in the NBA, in the NFL. We recruit people into Microsoft, Google. Recruiting is a normal way of life, but see, somewhere along our belief system, we got messed up. And what do I mean by that? Well, there's an evolution of a belief system. Think about this. Our parents, our teachers, coaches, clergy, friends, and relatives, all these people that are influential to us during our childhood, they say things to us like, this is fact, right? This is right. This is wrong. This is black. This is white. And because we're children, we really don't know the difference. And so we accept the elder's perception of what is fact, even if the elder is completely wrong, because we don't have the ability to know right from wrong. So we look up to the people that are raising us, and we accept the things they say is right in our childhood. And then we unconsciously ingrain those beliefs in our subconscious, and we start building our habits accordingly as an adult. And then we go operate under dozens of faulty beliefs and habits, but we're not really consciously aware of it. Like even one of my own family members said, this is a pyramid. And I said, what's a pyramid? And he said, well, you know. And I said, no, I didn't say it. You did. Tell me. And he really couldn't explain it, right? But we have this picture of what we in our mind because of what happened in our childhood. But then as adults, we operate under false and limiting beliefs and set invisible boundaries for our lives at an unconscious level. Now, think about how many times you've heard somebody say, well, is this one of those pyramid things? It's just because they don't know. It's not because, you know, they were told at some point in their life that whatever you had, you could build with leveraged income was a pyramid. They don't even understand what it really is. Next time somebody says this is a pyramid, act dumbfounded. Say, what's a pyramid? and let them try to explain it to you. And if they say the people at the top make all the money, that's what's going on with their boss. I told one of my friends, I said, look, what is your job? Who do you report to? Do they make money off of your division? Who do they report to? Well, they ended up, they reported to the last guy, reported to the owner. And I said, what is your chance to be in the owner's chair? And he said, well, that'll never happen. I said, so the people at the top make all the money. You're in a pyramid, right? I mean, but it's not because they're trying to be negative. It's because they were raised on a belief system and they just don't know any better. See, to succeed, we must first improve. And to improve, we must first practice. To practice, we must first learn. But to learn, we must first fail. So understand the process that we have to go through. So how important is financial education? To me, financial education is everything. Because again, the beliefs of the realities of a belief system, we are taught to trade time for money and get a good job when we're growing up as young children, right? Go to school, get good grades, get a good job. Then we get trapped into that, trading time for money. So for instance, let's say you got a job that paid you $2,000 a month. Well, all of a sudden you have to work for a year before you get a raise. Last year, the average raise was 2.8%. So I call that a bump. So this is what I've called the bump and run program. Now, I went to work for the Pillsbury Company when I was 25 years old. And prior to that, I was working at a convenience store called Minute Mart, like 7-Eleven, and I was getting paid like $3.65 an hour. When Pillsbury hired me, they gave me a salary, they gave me a company car, an expense account. They matched my 401k, 100% of my health insurance was paid for by the company. I was 25 thinking I was a millionaire. And so I kind of went through this bump and run program. And every time I turn around, they'd say, well, you're performing at 125%. We're paying you to 110%. And I said, so I get like a 15% raise? No, you don't, because our system isn't built for that. So what happens when we feel like we're being underpaid? We just decide to quit because we can go find a job that pays us more money, but then we do the same thing. And that is the definition of insanity, expecting to do doing the same things and expecting the results to change. How long does it take before we really catch this? See, at some point, and I'm 67 years old, I'm a Medicare millennial, I'm 67 with the energy of a 30-year-old. So at some point, this thing called age kicks in life. And all of a sudden, you're at this age and you're interviewing with someone that's young enough to be your own child. And they're kind of looking at you like you don't want to work all the hours that they want you to work. And you're looking at them like you got more experience right now than they'll ever have. And there's a communication problem. So all of a sudden, you're having a hard time finding a job. And then all of a sudden you end up having to have cash. You don't have any. What do we do? This is stuff I've done. So I'm speaking personally. I'm not saying you've done it. I've done it. So I know you go get cash advances off credit cards. And all of a sudden you still can't find work. And then when you don't, when you run out of the cash advances on credit card, I cashed in a 401k, paid the tax hit, and all of a sudden you run out of money. And what happens is you've got to have cash flow. So we end up taking a job for less than what we're worth. We know a year later we'll get a raise, but guess what? That raise doesn't come because they don't have to. Ladies and gentlemen, this is life. And all of a sudden, all the things that we were doing in these young years, we were accumulating all this stuff, and then we accumulated more, and now we're selling it at 10 cents on the dollar. See, the thing that I didn't know when I was growing up through these years, I didn't know anything about money. So what happened was, as I made more money, I was just broke at a higher level because I didn't have any economic sense. I didn't have any financial education to really know what to do with the money. I just thought that money would keep coming. And I was working so hard to make more money that I was focused on making more money and not focused or learning what to do with that money. Now, think about this. If you stop working, you lose your job, you lose your income, and you start all over, right? But does your age impact your ability to earn? It absolutely does. Ask anybody and they'll tell you that's over 50, right? So if we want to make our dreams come true, the first thing we really have to do is to wake up, because working for assets has a lot more value than working for income. Now, I want you to think about this pattern we just showed you where you just trade time for money, the bump and run program. Now, see, if you start a business of your own where you start building assets, in the beginning, we realize you don't know anything. A LegalShield, you don't know anything, so we don't pay you anything. right? And some people are skeptical about that. They kind of go, well, wait a minute, what do you mean I don't get paid anything? Listen, if I'd have had a financial education at 25, I would have come back over here when Pillsbury offered me a salary and a company car and expense account and all that stuff. I should have been skeptical about that because I didn't know anything about Pillsbury except the Pillsbury Doughboy. So I should have asked myself, why are you willing to pay me this salary, this company car expense account when I don't know anything about Pillsbury? That's what I should have been skeptical about if I would have had a financial education. But because I didn't, all I saw was cash flow. Well, in LegalShield, when you start your business, because you don't know anything, we're not going to pay you anything. But if you'll go out and do the things necessary, start part-time, then it's just a matter of time before your income passes what your full-time job income is. Now you have options. Now, the important thing is your why, because in this area right here is when people have a tendency to quit because they're used to getting paid for working a certain number of hours. Now they're working a certain number of hours, but they're not getting paid the same amount of money they're used to, and they think it won't work and they quit. But ladies and gentlemen, we have to understand that when you work for assets, you work for things that will spin off money to you when you're not working, right? You make money when you're working, but you're building assets that will spin off cash to you. So when you stop working, you still have money coming in. Now, when you're working for assets, if you stop working, you can keep or sell your business. You can keep your income and you can build a legacy for your loved ones. Does your age impact your ability to earn? No. Look at some of our most successful people in LegalShield. They've been around for a while and they're up there in years. It doesn't make them bad people, but age didn't impact their ability to earn income. See, both require work. Working for assets or working for income, they both require work. They both require time, but which one has the better end result? See, the only people mad at you for speaking the truth are those that are living a lie. So don't let somebody else talk you out of your dreams and your goals. You make sure that you stay true to what you believe. See, you're either building assets or you are the asset. And unless you want to work your asset off, you need to work for assets because we make a choice every day, whether we're trading time for money or whether we're building assets. See, you can't have $1 million dreams with minimum wage work ethic. Steve Siebold, I love his work. He's got a book called How Rich People Think. I'd strongly recommend you get the book. And in his book, what he does is he interviews self-made millionaires and he just finds out how they did it. And this is his quote. He says, make plans to get to $1 million. After interviewing over 1,200 self-made millionaires, I've discovered the fastest path to joining them is by building your own business. Match your education, talent, and passion to a business that solves a problem. The bigger the problem, the richer you will get. Find businesses you can launch inexpensively. Start part-time. If you don't know how to write a business plan, ask the Small Business Plan Administration for free help. The only obstacle is a mental toughness it takes to persist. I can't think of a better explanation of this right here. You could put LegalShield right over the front of this if you took out one sentence. And that is, if you don't know how to write a business plan, ask the Small Business Plan Administration for free help, because we have the business plan already done. We know how to make the business work. If you apply the principles, the work ethic, the work discipline, there's nothing keeping you except the mental toughness it takes to persist to be able to build the life that you truly want to build. It's so important to gain a financial education. There's so many great books out there. The second book on this list, Cash Flow Quadrant by Robert Kiyosaki, that's the book that truly changed my way of thinking. I joined LegalShield when I was 44 years old. At 46, I was in Denver, Colorado, and I attended a seminar, and he talked about the cash flow quadrants. I paid $5,000 to go to that seminar, and ladies and gentlemen, that seminar changed the way I started thinking about money. So I didn't start my financial education until age 46. Now, I'm not going to go through this in detail, but in his cash flow quadrants, he talks about the left side of the quadrant, the E and the S quadrants. E is an employee where you have a job. S is a self-employed where you own a job. And on the left side of the cash flow quadrants, it's difficult to create wealth. Now, if you really want to create wealth, he talks about getting onto the right side of the cash flow quadrants, the B and the I quadrants, the business owner, where you own a system, which we have in LegalShield, and the I quadrant, where money works for you as an investor. So if you haven't read this book, I'm going to strongly encourage you to get this book, because I want to compare it to a couple of different things in LegalShield. Now, listen to what I say carefully, because I don't want you to take this the wrong way, because I love our business solutions division. I don't work in the business solutions division. I work in the network marketing division, but I love our business solutions division because I override a lot of business solution sales. But let me give you my point about working for income versus working for assets. Let's say you're an executive director, and let's say you're in business solutions, and let's say the average premium you sell is $24.95 a month. And as an executive director, your commission would be $175.09. One of the greatest things about our business opportunity at LegalShield is that you can go out and you write 50 personal sales a month, you can get a six-figure ring just from your own personal efforts. That's unheard of, to be able to go out and really do something like that. But LegalShield allows, we have a lot of people that have gotten their six-figure ring from just personal sales, right? But now watch this. If you turn around and look at the cash flow quadrant, what quadrant would you be in if this is all you did? You'd be in the S quadrant. You'd be in the self-employed quadrant. You own a job, so to speak, because it's all dependent on whether you're out selling or not. If you're not selling, you're not getting any income. If the day comes where you want to stop selling, you've got to think about what the results are. See, if you're in the S quadrant, then you're self-employed. You don't have any leverage. Now, what happens if you get sick or want to retire, or want a vacation? Let me say that again. You're in the S quadrant. You're self-employed. You have no leverage. What happens if you get sick, want to retire, or want a vacation? Now, listen, I'm not saying don't do business solutions, because that'd be financial suicide for me, because I've got so many successful people on my team that do business solutions. But if you're going to do business solutions, wouldn't you want to be recruiting people into your business solutions to help them write business so you can have leverage or overrides from the business solutions division instead of just your personal sales? Let me give you an example. Let's look at the networking side, right? Here's an executive director on a $49.90 plan, commissions $280. Let's say they have 5 teams. One team's an associate team, then a senior associate team, a manager team, a senior manager team, and a director team. Now, the numbers underneath them are the commissions they're paid or the overrides they get from the people up to them. But let's say that, you look at the amount of overrides that come from each one of those teams, and then you turn around, let's look at the associate leg. Is it possible an associate could do 3 sales in a calendar month? Well, that's level up qualifying, right? So if you do 3 sales in a calendar month, then you would get $180 on each sale. This is a $49.90 plan. Therefore, you would earn $540 in overrides for work that was done from someone inside your team. If your senior associate team did 6 sales and you got $160 in overrides, you'd make $960. If the manager team did 10 sales and you got 140, you'd get $1,400 in overrides. If the senior manager team did 12 sales and you got 120, that's $1,440 in overrides. And if the director team did 15 sales and you got $90, you would get $1,350 in overrides. Now, notice from the sales overrides that we're talking about here, it's $68,280 a year, which is $50,000 ring earner. But as an executive director, you're not going to do nothing. Let's say that you went out and just wrote 1 membership a week at $280. That's $1,120 times 12 months is $13,440. Now you're up to $81,720. But what I didn't add up was the number of sales. If you add up the number of sales, it equals 50, which adds another bonus of executive director on all the other sales, which puts you to 131.4. Now, again, I'm not saying don't do business solutions. By all means, do business solutions. But if you're going to do business solutions, recruit other people to do business solutions or to do network marketing, because if you're the only person writing business and one day you stop and there's no new business going into your business, even with residuals, the only way your income can go is down. In a situation where you've got a team if you stop writing business, something happens to you, God forbid, the team that's having success, they're not going to quit working because something happened to you. They're going to keep building, which means your income continues to grow even beyond your lifetime. So the question is, would you rather have 48 personal sales in a year or 50 sales in a month? You want both, right? Okay. But help other people to get into business solutions. So if you're in business solutions and you're only writing business on your own, make sure you recruit some people to do it. See, in the networking side, you're in the B quadrant, right? You own a system. And what happens if you get sick or want to retire, want to take a vacation? The money just keeps on coming. Even my grandson, Austin, gets it. It's all about recruiting. I just got this new book. I encourage you to get it. It's called Who's in Your Room? The Secret to Creating Your Best Life. And it says the people you surround yourself with will determine your destiny. So important, because if it doesn't challenge you, it won't change you. Now, listen, there were times my pants were so thin, I could sit on a dime and tell you if it was heads or tails. Not really, but I thought it was really funny. It comes from one of my advisors, Teresa Kuhn from Bank on Yourself, through her livingwealthyfinancial.com site. But I want to show you something here that I think is really apparent. This is just a screenshot of one day's deposits. Now, the LegalShield deposit here in the middle, the $1,510, that was a Friday deposit. The $2,580.71, that was a Monday deposit. And this is all as earned, folks. This is not advanced commissions or anything like that. This is as earned income. I'm all passive. But look down, look at the top number, the 2580. That was my as earned commission for one day after being in the company for 22 years, right? That was my as earned commission for one day. Look at my Social Security check on the same day for the whole month after paying into it for 50 years, 2142. So which do you really want to depend on? You want to build something that can give you more. Well, ladies and gentlemen, look at this. The best yield for a $5,000 CD as of Friday was 3.2%. So how much money would you need to have invested at 3.2% in order to spin off $100,000 in passive income? Well, you'd have to have about $3,125,000 in a CD after taxes to generate $100,000 in passive income. So which is more likely, to save $3.1 million after taxes or to invest $99 and add some sweat equity? See, think about a $500,000 passive income would equal $15,625,000 after taxes. So think about what you can build through LegalShield, and you have to work at it. It's not free. The only thing free in life is the grace of God. But if you work at this and stay true to it and get those exposures and presentations done, you can build a business of your own. See, the problem with closed-minded people is their mouth is always open. A lot of people think success should be a straight shot. Trust me, it's everything but a straight shot. And people will say, well, my volume's down this month. My recruiting's down this month. Guess what? Apple's volume goes up and down. So does Microsoft. So does Google. All these major companies, they have up and down months. Our business isn't going to always be up and to the right. That's why we want to always be recruiting to make sure that we continue to develop stronger and stronger foundations for our companies. So let's build your dream in 2018, because people who say it cannot be done shouldn't interrupt those who are doing it. I want to take you on a quick 42-year journey as I wrap up the call, because I want to talk about my 20 years I spent in corporate America, because after 20 years, I ended up with 20 years of experience and no cash flow when the company I worked for closed down. And the bills kept coming and the cash flow stopped, and I was not ready for that. So I call it any excuse will do, right? Here's my 42-year journey. So in corporate America, I started working full-time. 40 hours a week, and I ended up working 70 to 80 hours a week as a corporate president. In LegalShield, I started working part-time, investing 10 hours a week. Now we work whenever we want to. Which one would you choose? If you're going to build a career, which one of those would you choose? In corporate America, when I stopped working, they stopped paying me. In LegalShield today, 100% of our income is residuals, passive, and comes in whether we work or not. We're 100% as earned with no advanced commissions. Which one would you choose? In corporate America, I listened to broke people tell me how to get rich, and I stayed broke and got deeper into debt. In LegalShield, I listened to wealthy people who taught me how to create wealth. Which one would you choose? In corporate America, I gained work experience, but in LegalShield, I gained wealth experience. Which one would you choose? In corporate America, I lived on 125% of my income. I was living check to check and had credit card debt like a lot of the American public today. In LegalShield, we live on 19% of our income with no debt except our mortgage, which is a 3.5% fixed 15-year mortgage, right? Which one would you want? To have credit card debt and be living on the edge financially, or to have no financial concerns? In corporate America, I always had a boss who dictated everything. Time, how much time I had to work, how much money I could make, whether I had a vacation, when I took it, whether I was even employed or not. And in LegalShield, we fired the boss and surrounded ourselves with leaders. Which one would you choose? In corporate America, 100% of my income came from the work I did. But in LegalShield, 100% of our income today comes from work we don't do. Which one would you choose? In corporate America, I had no friends from my former jobs. 20 years in corporate jobs, never don't have any friends from it. But in LegalShield, I've got thousands of friends all over LegalShield today. Which one would you want, right? In corporate America, in 20 years, I never made $1 million. I made my first $1 million in LegalShield in 4.5 years. And now every couple of years, I make $1 million without having to work. Which one would you choose? In corporate America, my best income month was $8,500. In LegalShield, my best income month was $82,800. Which one would you choose? In corporate America, somebody else always made my decisions for me, and I usually didn't like them. Now in LegalShield, somebody still makes my decisions for me, but I like them, so I married her. And everybody knows Donnie, and Donnie says hello to everyone. She misses you guys. Amazing partner in life. A man with dreams needs a woman with vision. Her perspective, faith, and support will change his reality. If she doesn't challenge you, then she's no good for you. Men who want to stay ordinary will tell you not to have expectations of them. Men who want to be great will expect you to push them, pray with them, and invest with them. Ladies and gentlemen, I know women need the same thing from men. It's not a one-sided street. See, sometimes life is about risking everything for a dream no one can see but you. So fall in love with your life. The happier you are, the more beautiful you become. Be fearless in the pursuit of what sets your soul on fire. And remember that no matter who's president, Jesus will always be king. Chris, Kai, thank you all so much for having me on the call. I appreciate it, and I'll turn it back over to you.
Wow. Teams Make Dream Family. I saw Mr. Smith brought that training out to Colorado. What was it, last month?
Yeah.
And so you are probably the team here, probably along with your team, are some of the first associates that have seen this training.
Just did it in Southern California last weekend.
All right. So there you go. And one thing that I absolutely love about this is that if you've got somebody that's riding on the fence as to whether or not this is a sound opportunity, they've seen everything, I would just show them that training. And a fool would decide not to go with us. Well, so thank you for your time, Mr. Smith. I really appreciate you continuing to pour into our family.
Well, thank you. Just remember, it's important everybody understands we have a lot of people that have had massive financial success, and we have people that don't make anything, right? Because I want to make sure that I make that disclaimer. If you don't do the work, you won't gain the income. It's like anything else. The only thing free in life is the grace of God. Thanks a lot for having me on.
Thank you, sir.